If you recognize someone in the street, you should probably not grab their arm or touch them in any way.
This is one of my favorite parts of London that no tourist really knows about. I mean, there's not really much for them to do when they come. You can just sit, enjoy the view. You can supposedly swim as well. But I only even found out about this place in the last 2 years since getting a bike. But I've lived in London now for over 13 years, and viewers have begun asking the big question, how much longer I'm going to be living here? And the thing is, if you have watched my content recently, you might have asked, something's different here, is something changing? And the answer is, well, a lot less dramatic than you'd expect. But my name is Edinger, and today I'd like to answer some big questions.
So quite a few of you have asked me a variation of the same type of question. These are the biggest ones we have. Are you still happy living in the UK? Have you considered moving out of London? And would you still recommend moving to the UK? These are all slightly different questions, but they're all asking pretty much the same thing. There was a long period in my life where I actually was strongly considering leaving London, but it was for the reason that, well, most people consider it, the money. London is an incredibly expensive place to live, and if you want to get properly on the property ladder, it is so incredibly difficult. And so I was actively looking at other options, and a lot of my brain was going into, well, if I can't live in London, I'd rather just live in some other big city in Europe that I can afford, that has all the things that London has that I'm looking for. Then just the more that I spent in London, the more time I spent here, the more that I really came to just love this place. I have so many roots down it, and so for the time being, I am staying in London. Important distinction, London is not the UK. I've visited a lot of these cities and towns all throughout Great Britain, and there are quite a few that I've actually lived in for a little bit of time, but of everywhere that I've experienced, I'd say that London, Liverpool, Cardiff, and Edinburgh were cities that I felt like would really suit my lifestyle best. But to be honest, I haven't spent nearly enough time in every single nook and cranny of the UK in order to make such a blanket statement about the state of living in the UK. I don't think anyone could make that statement about any country, regardless of how long they've spent there, because countries are big places. What I can speak to are the places that I've been and how well they match with my lifestyle. I have seen quite a few posts from American expats who end up moving to the UK and don't get on really well with it and find themselves quite alone and like they don't belong. And usually upon further inspection, I find out that these Americans have usually lived to, well, very similar suburban style living accommodations to what they were used to in the States. And I do think that might be part of the problem here. The thing is, it might be similar, but not in the ways that they're expecting. And then because of this, they try and live a more American lifestyle and then find that they can't, and that's where they get a bit of a clash. If I tried to live my life as Americanly as possible in London, like as if today I hopped off the plane and I was like, here I go, new life, gonna be super American, I'd actually find it really depressing because a lot of aspects of each culture conflict in ways that really matter. For instance, if I wanted all of the space available to a standard American suburban home and I wanted to fill my house with all the knickknacks and things that are advertised to me on social media, I just can't really do that here because space is at such a premium. Now, if I did actually want that lifestyle, it is available. I'd have to live way further out of London and maybe just have a lot more money, but then I'd be trading off a lot of the aspects of London that make it so good to me. Would you move to the UK in 2026? Well, I mean, based on what I value, yes, and it depends on where I'd move in the UK, but absolutely I would. There are certain aspects of UK culture that really vibe with me, and I very much appreciate them. I've made an entire video about those differences, I'll link that above, but something you really gotta realize is grass is not always greener. It depends on what you are looking for, and every country is going to have pros, cons, ups, downs, good parts, bad parts. I kind of split the UK up into two different types of cities. Cities in which people self-refer to their own city as a shithole, and everywhere else. I've been to other cities. I've been to Cambridge, I've been to Cardiff, I've been to Manchester, I've been to London, obviously. I've been to a lot of different places in which people are just like, oh yeah, what do you think of the place? It's really nice, right? And then I've been to places like Walsall, I've been to Luton, I've been to different places just in like Norwich, in which when I talk to people that live there, they go, what are you doing in this shithole? And I find that so fascinating.
What's an American YouTuber doing in black?
That is a bit of British culture that is absolutely not American at all. Even if you go to the shittiest place in all of America, you go somewhere in Mississippi and you talk to them about what they like living there, there'll be a 9 out of 10 chance that man will say, America's the best place in the world, actually. We got all the freedom and I love it. Even though, you know, his life is crumbling around him and he's not living in a really good place in which people actually care about him or society in general. But that's a difference in culture. I kind of like the self-deprecating humor that a lot of Brits have, and it's something that I felt like I always had, that level of sarcasm in the US. So when I moved over here, that was just something that gelled well with me. So I quite like it. But that follows really well into this question, which is, do you think you'll always live in a major city? And this is one where there are pros and cons to each. You might be someone that really prefers that quiet space away from it all. And I grew up like that. I grew up in a place where I couldn't really walk anywhere, that was really suburban. I then moved to a place that was incredibly rural, in which my only neighbors were cows and corn. And then from there, I really just wanted something more. I wanted socialness. I wanted society, really. I wanted people. There's only so much you can really do when you build this lovely fort to yourself where you just want to share it, right? And for me, there's something that a lot of Europeans all share, this feeling of togetherness that you get from being in a big group of people and the frictionless way of getting around. Like, I genuinely don't think I could ever live in a smaller town or city that didn't have really good public transit or walkable neighborhoods or the ability to safely just cycle around, because now that I've experienced those aspects of life in London, I couldn't live without them. It's like sometimes you might purchase this item that you feel like has changed your life. A lot of people are like, oh, the rice cooker. And yeah, having a rice cooker is great. And then you imagine your life. No, that's not a good analogy, because you can live without a rice cooker. Like, that's the thing. It's always the consumerist in me. I'm always like, oh, like garbage disposals. That's not really something worth changing countries for. The way that a country holds itself and its infrastructure, and basically the way that a country can get out of the way and allow you to live your life, that's something that I value so much. And because London is such a transit hub, it allows me to go anywhere I want, any time of the day. I actually, by the time you're watching this, I should have probably just gotten back from a massive trip throughout Europe that I was taking, where I took my e-bike on the train all throughout Europe to the Netherlands to cycle around and some other countries. And that's not really something I could so easily do in anywhere in the US, not to any sort of similar degree. Sure, I could visit different states, but there really is no comparison when you're visiting similar states, because all the states are still the same culture. And I know that Americans really hate hearing that, because they're like, what do you mean? We have good barbecue in Kansas City, but if you go to Seattle, they're gay, or whatever they say. Yeah, every country has those things, Every country has differences between regions, but going to a different country is such an incredibly different experience. And I guess the older I get, the more I realize just how important the interconnectedness and frictionless travel is to me. I can't imagine like raising a child in a place in which that wasn't a thing I could experience with them, so they could just have the freedom to just get around whenever they want. I'm very excited for that one day, and I guess it's one of those things where I'm very happy with the the way I was raised. Yeah, I guess that's it. I feel like when you bring this sort of thing up, people then might look at their childhood experience and go, well, nothing's wrong with that, I'm fine. And I get that. I mean, I was fine. I was able to get through life. I just wasn't able to socialize as much as other people in other countries, I suppose. I mean, I did my best. I would, try and walk around the neighborhood and make friends. That was when I was in a suburb. Then as soon as we moved, that was it. You just talk to the corn, talk to the cows. The cows, they say moo. And so you hear, what, moo? To England? The only thing that would really be tempting to me to move to somewhere in Europe, a different city, would genuinely be to experience that huge perspective switch again, because I just find it so invigorating to live in a place that's such a fish out of water, where you're like, oh my God, it's fascinating. You learn so much all the time, the language, the culture, it's honestly amazing. But I'm also getting a bit older, and so I feel like I'm very happy with where I am, and I'm happy to just visit these places. So, hey, we're all in different stages of our lives. Now, I did get a lot of questions asking about if my content has changed, things about my travel channel, editing stuff, so I feel like I want to clear some things up. This question, someone said, I feel like your content has changed recently. You used to talk about that you didn't have a specific niche and you tested different types of content. How is that going? So, this is an interesting one because, yes, I think my content has changed because it changes every year. I actually had someone, I think 2 or 3 years ago, left me a comment saying, oh, you're just making videos for the algorithm because you just keep making these videos on food. And I was like, wow, I found that really interesting, because for me, it was because I was actually in a calorie deficit doing some cutting for fitness purposes. And therefore, a lot of my mind was dedicated to nutrition and food. And because of that, I was learning a lot about it, and I wanted to share that. And then I moved on when I had felt like I shared as much as I could about what I'd learned. And then there was something else that attracted me. And that's just kind of what this channel is what I'm learning at the time and what I want to talk about. It's not necessarily like my content is one niche or multiple niches. It's just the niche is, hey guys, here's what I've learned recently. I've spent spent a lot of time researching this and I found it really fascinating. I hope you do too. It's just whatever I'm interested in the moment. That's kind of how I describe it to people. Obviously, if you've seen a lot of the videos I've been making in the last year, you'll see I'm currently in a big kick with cycling and with urbanism and with public transit and walkability because I just find them really, really fascinating right now. Ever since I got an e-bike, it has like just clicked a switch in my brain that's made me feel like some sort of like prophet of, oh my God, have you guys figured out that you could do this? It's great. And it's hard for me not to be really passionate about the things that I'm interested in and talk about them. That's just who I am. It's my authentic self. This is how I create. In terms of the question about like the travel channel, like, oh, where's this Q&A gonna be? Is it gonna be on the travel channel? If you didn't know, I have a travel channel. If you don't know, that's probably because I don't really upload it on it as much anymore. There was a long period of time where I literally uploaded daily on that channel. Anytime I went on a trip to a different country, I vlogged every day. And the vlogs would be like beginning to the end of the day, and there it was. But then the more complex that my video making process became, the more difficult this became to the point where I just have never had time to do it. Also, answering this question at the same time, do I shoot and log in color grade? Absolutely, because I love it so much. It takes a lot more effort. It takes a lot more knowledge to figure out how to do it. But when you do it right, it's so good. And to me, that's such an important element of my creative process that if I took that away to just pump out more content to you, well, I wouldn't enjoy doing it as much. And then you'd probably be able to tell that I'm just making videos to make money and to talk to the algorithm, whereas I actually spend a huge amount of time on lighting and on the color grading and on these other things. And once you learn how to make a video better, it's hard to just ignore that when you want to create things that people enjoy. And so when it came to my travel channel, now that every single shot is like, oh, I'm taking the time with it, making sure it looks nice, and then color grading it afterwards, and then, wow, it's just a vlog, and it's so difficult to package something like that. These days, YouTube is not a vlog-friendly place. My vlog in Taiwan, for instance, has this type of content in it. I cycled to Asia's biggest tech show in Taipei, and it was quite scary and fun, and I was talking about different things I saw, and I thought it was quite nice. Then also included the bit in Computex, the tech show, where I'm talking about like upper level information about NASA's and agentic AI and stuff. Okay, the two different types of people watching that content. Are they also into videos about trains in Taiwan, or maybe about the food experience? Like at this point, there's so much in there, it's difficult to really package it for the person that I'm targeting, which is me. I just like making videos that I like, and it's difficult when you spend so much time and effort on a video and then it just kind of doesn't go anywhere because you didn't properly capture the audience. And so a lot of times I just focus on this main channel because this one I have such a regular schedule with. Every Sunday I make one, and it is a terrifying prospect of, let's just say I uploaded that vlog here. What if the algorithm, the audience was like, oh, this is really weird. I don't know how to pay attention to this. And then that kills my retention. The algorithm stops recommending it. People stop watching. There's a lot of things that go behind this that are very stressful. And so the way for me to be my authentic self is to just create what I enjoy. And that is what I'm still doing here. So for all those questions, hope those were some good answers for the behind the scenes. Oh, and a relevant question. Someone said, you know, when I'm living with someone, what do I have to like plan on converting my studio here into an additional room? The thing is, I really, really, really appreciate having a space in my house to create videos. You know, I edit them here, I film them here, and obviously I can film out and about like I am throughout this video as well, but there's just something about having this space dedicated to making videos within my house that I just really appreciate. And I think that's from the fact that ever since I started making YouTube videos, I was filming them in my living room. I was filming them in my bedroom. And the idea of filming them in a space that is outside and I have to go to get to the studio, and then I have to, there's so much friction there that it would make me less enthusiastic, I suppose. And there's something I really find lovely about the personal element of this is my space. I've taken the time to make this, to be able to make videos the way I like and to express myself. And so, sure, I could do that in a studio, but there's just something, like a studio that's outside of my house, but I just feel like there's something that would pull me out of it, as if, hello, I'm now a machine that is producing this for you, as opposed to, welcome to my house. This next question I do think is really important. Someone's asking me how I feel about people coming up to me when they recognize me and saying hi and stuff. And I do think it depends on how you do this. These are all interactions I've had within the last month. But at one point, I was walking around in Broadway Market in Hackney, and someone grabbed my arm and turned to me and said, I like your podcast. And I can obviously tell you why I didn't like that. I don't know, podcast? Don't touch me. I feel like I feel like if you recognize someone in the street, you should probably not grab their arm or touch them in any way, because I can tell you that's not very comfortable, right? Also, I don't have a podcast. So it's like, hey, Mr. TikTok guy. No, I mean, no. Another time this week as well, I had someone that, I mean, this happens quite regularly. I'm just cycling along the road or with a friend and cycling along the canals, and someone was like, hey, Evan. I'm like, hey. That's really cool. I actually really enjoy that. Like the other day, literally yesterday, I was cycling around near London Bridge, and this woman came up next to me with a really nice bike, and I went, oh, that's a really nice bike. And the guy in front of her went, hey, are you Evan? Oh, I really like your vids. I like your video with not just bikes. And I was like, oh, thank you, that's nice. I'll see you later. And then we cycled off. That sort of thing is so wholesome and feels so nice. And not once did I feel uncomfortable. There was a moment I had at Westfield this week as well, which is a big mall in London, in which this has never happened in my entire career, but I got recognized by two different people that were not connected at the same time. And this was not at like a YouTube event or something. So here I am walking out of a Gale's, holding a sausage roll, feeling a bit ill, to be honest. And then two people come walking at me. One person stands up and just goes, hey. And because both of them don't realize that both of them have recognized me, I into this weird fight or flight stage. I've just never experienced this. So I just go, what the fuck is going on? And then I felt awful. I've just shouted what the fuck is going on to people that have recognized me. But it was just a terrifying thing to experience, is to have two people walking at me like that when I'm thinking, I guess I'm just in my own little private space. And then I spent like 5 minutes talking to each of them, but I'd never had to deal with this where each one wanted my time separately, and I was like, oh, I don't know how to like not be rude to one of you because I have to talk to both of you. Like, you know, I know it's really weird. Like I said, I very much appreciate when people say hi. It happens very often these days in London. It happened when I was in Cambridge quite a few times. A guy I let pass me on the bike was like, thanks, Evan. And I was like, oh, that's nice. Like, that's the sort of thing where I'm like, that's so cool. It like makes me feel like I'm in a video game. But yeah, basically mostly positive, just as long as it's not strange. Then I got this question asking if I'm keeping up with my German and Spanish, and the truth is, not really in terms of my German. You know, ever since I learned it and I read so many books and I was able to speak it, and I went to Germany for quite a bit and I loved it so much, I just haven't had as many opportunities to engage with the language. I can still read it quite well. Like if I'm listening to Instagram stories of people speaking German, I'm like, hell yeah. You know, I can actually understand it, and I've had some brief conversations in the last year in German, but my confidence is completely gone, and that would take another few weeks of like dedicated practice and speaking to get back. In terms of Spanish, I'd say my Spanish is the opposite. It's incredibly good. I'm so proud of my Spanish. I have such a confidence with it, and I might be making mistakes regularly, but I can speak Spanish, and it's really cool. In fact, there is still one video from Mexico City that I've not uploaded yet because it's the biggest video I've ever made, and it is involving me speaking Spanish quite a lot. So stay tuned for that, but Spanish, doing great. Hopefully I get my German back after I'm finished with my Duolingo tree, because I'm near the end. I will be finishing by the end of this year, so it's kind of crazy. I've been working on that for so long. And 13 people upvoted this question, which was, if you'd stayed in the US, do you think you would be a very different person from who you are today, and why? I think the answer would be the same if I was born in like Germany and moved to Belgium, or lived in the UK and then moved to San Francisco. Basically, if you've ever lived in one country and you've switched, that perspective switch that comes from that is so huge and so life-changing that I don't think anyone could be different. And I do think that you can also get, like, for the most part, 80% of the way there just by experiencing 2 weeks in a foreign country to your own, no matter where you're from. As long as when you go, you're just actively being curious about every little difference that's around you. Don't just, you know, go sit on the beach and go, wow, how is it so nice? But actually maybe focus on that. Why is it so nice? Obviously you're on holiday, but what is it specifically that's so nice? Oh, I really like that they do this. Focus on that. Why do they do that? Maybe learn a little bit about that. That's the stuff that really gets me, and that's what makes me feel like a different person every time I travel somewhere. It's such a popular expression, but it is very difficult to see the forest through the trees. When you're within a culture and you're surrounded by people who have the same upbringing and the same experience of that culture, it gets very difficult to have any outside perspective on the way things can improve and change. Even though I love London public transit and I use it all the time, it's great, I hardly could imagine how it could improve. You know, I visit lots of different countries. I ride public transit in lots of places, and for the most part, I'm always like, London's great. How could you really make it better? Make them faster? I don't know. Then I visited Taiwan recently, and I was actually so blown away that there were little things that London could improve upon. Like Taiwan had these lines painted on the floor of the platform where people would wait so that people wouldn't clash with them as they got out. And I went, that's such a small thing that we could implement in London that would improve things greatly. A tiny thing, just a bit of paint. And people in Taiwan actually did follow that like little rule. And I was like, that's amazing. And then something extra small, which was, oh, I'm in this new city in this new country I've never been to, and oh, Google Maps tells me take exit 3. The UK doesn't have good signage in London specifically when it comes to which exit. You get out at Oxford Circus Station and you're like, oh, which exit is it? There's like 6 of them or something. And saying exit 3 and then having signs being like, this is exit 3, this is exit 2, rather than just the places around, it just feels like, wow, amazing. And so I've now taken that, and thankfully I don't work in infrastructure, so I can't do anything about it, but I can talk about it on YouTube. Like I said, there's only so much you could really learn from watching a YouTube video. I learned so much in every different topic watching videos, but experiencing things by going out there and making yourself uncomfortable is really what I like the most. That being a fish out of water experience that I get from travel, that I get from living for brief stints of time in other places, really is the biggest catalyst for increasing my ability to have critical thought. And that's why I'm always like recommending people do that if they can, because for me, it's just had the biggest change in my life in any positive way. But before I wrap this up, I do just want to take a quick second to thank today's video sponsor.
Wow, look at that. That's Tivoli. It's one of the oldest amusement parks in the world. I'm currently cycling in Copenhagen for an upcoming video, and this whole time I've been quite stress-free. One of the reasons is because I use today's video sponsor, mkii. mkii, if you didn't know, is one of those services you sign up for, and they help protect your internet data. Because everything you're doing on the internet, you sign up to a website, you give them your phone number, your email address, well, hypothetically, those companies should be keeping your data private in a nice server, encrypted, but a lot of websites these days, they just have such bad security, such bad OPSEC, that this data just gets out on the dark net. A lot of the websites that you sign up for, you don't even realize, but the terms and conditions state that the website is able to use and sell your private data. So a lot of these websites are more than happy to sell that data on, and that's why you might find yourself getting random spam emails so much, or spam phone calls, because, well, your information has showed up on a list. Luckily, mkii is a service that helps stop that. Now, you can actually go through and email each of these data broker lists and ask them to remove your private data for you, but that is incredibly time-consuming, whereas mkii as a service does all that for you. You give them all the stuff you need to give them, and then they go through and email and call and be like, oi, get rid of his data. He's stopping for this red light because he's a good boy. Just like the data brokers should really stop keeping my data, which is why this graph shows, wow, they've deleted a lot of data. Just imagine going on your evening cycle, your evening commute home in Copenhagen, and this guy next to you just starts doing an ad read for mkii. You know, just imagine that life. You'd probably enjoy it, and you'd sign up today using my link in the description. You actually get a really big discount. So thank you very much to mkii for sponsoring. Without further ado, let's get back to the video.
Hello, thank you for making it to the outro. I hope you enjoyed this little Q&A. I don't do these regularly because it's one of those types of things where it's difficult to package up to make the algorithm super happy, but here we are. If you have any ideas for any videos you'd like to see me explore, maybe things I can learn and talk about on this channel, please, I'm all ears. Leave me a comment below. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching, and hopefully I'll see you back on my channel next Sunday. Goodbye.
I think they need more lights here. I can only see 3, and maybe 8 of them might be good, I think. Oh wait, I'm sorry, there's 2 more, there's 5. There's 5 lights, okay. Oh my God, you're right, there is 7. It's so baffling.